and Doug Nelson.
Um, yeah, I didn't.
The Jeskai deck won that one.
Oh, the
The replay.
the replay,
Yeah.
sure. It's kind of a cool one.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a fun match. Both players were competent. It was entertaining.
so we saw in our round one a green white tokens player try and go wide to this Delirium deck.
Sure.
Um, how do you think the Fabricate deck will do? Because that's definitely an option if it to go wide. I know this deck has like Marionette Master in it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Marionette Master is a spicy one.
so like its guys die, and then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And what's it called? Vampiric rights, so it can like sacrifice the creatures and
I need to see a way that this green white Fabricate is going to attack through an Ishkana before I'm willing to give it
give
any
it any.
consideration of this matchup.
Okay.
But we'll definitely see. I mean, he's 2-0, so he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah. All right. A classic start from any deck with planes in it is going to be Thraben
Thraben
Inspector.
Inspector.
My Inspector is Thraben
I don't think it's it on this.
on the stream. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I was just it was a description of my card.
Yeah, you're making it worse,
All right.
not better. Oh man.
All right. And so now we're probably going to see one of these comes into play tap lands. Oh man, he might be going deep because he's got the uncommon comes into play tapped 100% of the time land,
Sure, I can see running like one or two of this.
as well as the cloister and the man land.
The Manland's the big one.
Right. I like the constraints that there are on mana in standard right now.
I like a lot of things about standard right now. The constraints on mana are amongst them. I wish it was a little bit more lenient, but not much. So I want three color decks to be a thing.
Oh, I don't see. I think that's when it's too much. I like where we're at right now, where you have to make a choice about what colors you're playing and how good you want the mana to be and what sacrifice you're willing to make. So like this black white Fabricate deck, probably isn't coming out of the gates that hot, so it can choose to make the sacrifice of playing this comes into play tapped all the time land. All right, so it looks like he has many Grasp of Darknesses.
Grasping all of the darkness. Fire the first one off.
All right. Do
Get
you
it
like
for two.
using that proactive there, or do you like blocking, seeing if Doug's gonna?
Oh no, I want it. I want to get it proactively.
Sure.
Doug is playing a different version of Delirium than we saw before.
This one's a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, this is the more aggro build.
I see the Verdurin Gear Hulk in his hand. The Green Gear Hulk gives counters everywhere. Not everywhere, wherever you want to put them. And it's definitely, if you got 2 or 3 good guys on the board, that Gear Hulk could be a big deal on turn 5.
Sure.
All right.
All right, a fourth land for the Schweiger.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna see some action here. Let's see what.
Now, a lot of people will joke around about these Thraben Inspectors being 1/2s, but they can put up a decent clock. The few times I've played Standard this format, I was always more than a little happy to see a Thraben Inspector on turn 1. Because it can really force your opponent's hand.
Oh, and here's an interesting interaction with the Thraben Inspector and Syndicate Trafficker.
Oh, yeah.
You can sacrifice the clues that have been generated to save your Trafficker from any kind of malady.
Well, not the Grasp in Darkness kind of malady, but everything else, sure.
Indestructible. It gives it indestructible, so it follows up with an Ailey. Which
Yeah, Ailey's a pretty good one.
Yeah, 2/3 death touching is a big deal around these parts with the Delirium deck relying this version of Delirium really relying on these 2-drop green creatures.
Right. Let's see what Doug Nelson brings to the table here. I know he's got multiple tireless trackers in hand. I got to think that's just the best way to go.
Okay. Yeah, so if you have tireless tracker land here, like you think you can catch up a little bit?
Yeah, I think you're in great shape if you tireless tracker land here.
Here comes something. Nope. Doug's giving it a good think.
I don't know what his options are. Oh, we're murdering the Eiley.
Okay, so he didn't have a land.
Okay, that makes sense then.
So that's
If I was going to murder there, I would have murdered the Syndicate tracker.
right, the guy that can become indestructible.
Right, Eiley doesn't present like as fast of a clock.
Sure. Here's another replacement Eiley. It's unfortunate. So now Kyle has the Syndicate Trafficker protected against everything but Grasp of Darkness. And Doug's still going to be missing his 4th land drop.
I think you just need to run it out here.
Just tracker, and then if you you draw a land, you get to play it. Sack the clue, maybe, see what's up.
Yeah, we need...
Yeah, the issue is that the Gear Hulk gets better the more creatures you have on the board, because spreading those counters out is something you're interested in doing here.
Absolutely.
And so passing, like going back and forth with just you casting a removal spell and him casting creatures is not going to favor your come back into the gameplay of distribute these counters everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you know that Verdur's Gear Hulk is going to be the card that gets you this game,
right?
You need to make sure that it has a board state that can win you the game when it hits play.
Right. Yeah, and Doug with the 4th land for so many turns is just not going to be able to get back into this when he's at 3. Flaying Tendrils is the only card I can think of that buys him a turn.
Doesn't have that one in hand.
Sure. Yeah, I wasn't saying he did. I was just saying.
Sure.
Just running through standard cards real quick.
If he had 2 removal spells, then he could cast for 3 mana. But he does not.
Yeah, so that game wasn't an excellent representation of what the matchup probably really looks like. The advantage Doug has here is he's seen a good, portion of Kyle's deck.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what kind of threats he's dealing with.
Sure.
And Doug, as you've mentioned tonight, these green-black Delirium decks are kind of broad-based. There's a lot of different things they can be doing.
Absolutely. So Kyle doesn't have as much information as Doug, is what you're saying?
Right.
I would agree.
So it's going to be harder for him because he doesn't know what kind of action he needs to pinpoint.
Yeah, if he tries to play around like Ishkanal, then he's just going to get run over by Grim Flayers with tons of +1/+1 counters.
Right. I can also see Liliana being very good on Doug's side.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing against Schweiger's board at the end of there, but, I mean, certainly if he had played it on 3 into 2 Thraben Inspectors, it's very strong.
Right. It's also pretty good if he runs out a Syndicate Trafficker the way he did without any protection.
Sure.
Like he had protection, but he left himself tapped out and unable to activate it. Yeah, anytime Liliana can straight up get a card dead
and not die on the swing back.
Oh yeah, that's a good Liliana.
Yeah.
Even if it does die on the swing back, I mean, it's obviously not a situation you want to play into, but you're trading card for card at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and you bought yourself however much life and tempo board advantage, having them tap all their creatures for a turn is worth.
Yeah, I mean, it can be worth
right.
it.
I'm with you that it's not like the best use of a planeswalker.
So it really depends on what your plan is. Like, if you need this planeswalker to take over the game, then you definitely need to untap with it.
Sure.
Untapping with the planeswalker is
Pretty
right
much
where
the
you
whole
want to be.
deal.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. You untap once, and then if you're gonna win with it, that's how you do it. That's the first step.
Right, you can make a lot of good choices to make that happen for you. Here we are shuffling. How do you like these yellow sleeves? I wonder what the opaqueness on them is.
I don't think it matters. I like seeing through my sleeves so I can mark more cards. Makes it easier to see if I'm going to draw a land or not.
Sure.
Plan ahead.
I once bought a set of damaged arid maces
Okay.
where somebody had taken the back of the card and the small dots that are in the corner of the magic card, they'd colored them a different color. So I'm looking at these things out of the damage case at Star City, like, man, these look perfect. Buy them. I put them in some not opaque sleeves and wound up with a marked deck because I, just didn't realize the...
Hopefully you got banned from Magic Forever.
No, didn't get banned from Magic Forever. I actually caught myself before it was an issue.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You didn't actually scumbag anybody.
No. And Star City didn't scumbag me. I mean, they were damaged.
Sure.
So I, bought a damaged product that I just didn't think was as damaged. Their grading policy is great, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You get some real nice finds in, like, HP. It's like HP because it's signed, and you're like, all right, whatever.
Right, yeah. I'm all right with that. I like Rob Alexander anyway. Take this land.
So this is a little bit strange. Doug is taking his time shuffling, but judging from Kyle Schweiger's attire, he's got to go fast.
He's gotta go fast. Maybe Doug's trolling him a little bit here. Maybe he's playing the mind games.
He might be playing the mind games.
He's slowing down the pace of play, knowing that Kyle has gotta go fast.
Yeah. Doug's he really wants to control this game, control the pace. If he can force Schweiger to slow down,
Yeah.
then, I mean, he's got a good chance of taking all of his rings.
Do you have like a ringing in your ear? Ah. Shit.
All right, let's see. Doug Nelson.
Sorry about that, guys. I had a little headphone malfunction, or maybe it was just a malfunction of my
Brain.
brain.
Okay. Doug Nelson with the same start. Seems pretty strong. One type for our spotter out there.
So we've established that Doug's playing the more aggressive Delirium deck.
Correct.
So is this the spots he puts the creatures in? He takes out things like Grapple with the Past and Vessel of Nascency.
You don't take him out. You shave.
Okay.
And you don't really take any or add any creatures. You just change the creatures you have in.
Okay. So I figured he was on more creatures because he has the Grimflayer as well as the Sylvan Advocate.
Right, so you play like 4 Grimflayer, 2 Advocate, 4 Tracker, and then like some number of Gear Hulks. You might play. Yeah, you usually don't play Ishkan on that deck. Grasp is real strong here. And I played it last turn, it's been announced. That's good. Here we go.
All right, so Doug's gonna look at these three. Let's see if he manages this Grim Flare better than the last player we saw.
So he's also got a Cletus on top, ironically, but I think Cletus is much better in this matchup.
Sure. So he puts
Still
Cletus
puts
in the
it
board.
in the bin.
In the bin.
I like it. Oh, he has one in hand.
Oh,
That's
no
fine.
big deal. So we're up to three types: land, instant, Cletus.
He doesn't
creature.
have a land in hand, so he's left one on top, which is good. It's smart.
Sure. Is that a dead weight in his hand? How do you like dead weight over the grasp there?
Eiley is a 2/3.
Right, it makes it an 0-1.
Right, I definitely want that off. He's got a relevant activate ability.
Sure.
Multiple relevant activated abilities, actually.
All right.
So, 3 here.
Interesting.
I
So if he has
think-
like a
Yeah, I think you just Hail Mary this. You run out the dead weight, jam in. You want him to block, but if he doesn't, you're still perfectly fine with it.
For Death Touch, a creature has to do damage, right?
yes, so he's in there for 2 against this 0-1.
So blocking here is definitely the wrong call.
No, you just let that hang out. Yeah, just take the 1, man.
But the reason this is such a good play for Doug is he's got the flying tendrils as well. So this
Oh,
puts
does he?
yeah, this puts Eiley right into flying tendrils range.
Sure. All right. None of these
Oh,
cards seem
awkward.
particularly important.
So we have instant land, which does not turn on Delirium. He really wanted to get Delirium here.
Concur.
Might keep the grasp, but honestly, I'd probably just bin them all. So he's opted to keep the grasp. He thinks grasp is better than a random card out of his deck, which I don't agree with. Like, I would rather have a land than a grasp,
Sure.
but I don't want a land, if you understand what I'm saying.
Sure. I like grasp against the white deck specifically because it gets your Avacyn.
Okay, yeah.
I think that card flipping is. It just I've never watched an Avacyn flip and been like, okay, we're in good shape here.
Sure.
All right, here's a Syndicate Trafficker.
See, this is where keeping the grasp on top would have been good. We've got a grapple, which you definitely want to fire off pre-combat here.
You don't want to see. I would play the Cletus.
At this point, you're really riding on this Grim Flare.
Okay.
Kalidas is actually a slower clock than Grim Flare,
Okay, so we're gonna.
and you've been aggressive the whole time. So now, like, playing out the Kalidas means you're okay with, like, taking a back seat and, like, slowing down the pace.
Right.
When, if you grapple and you hit Delirium, then you're straight in the driver's seat.
All right, Kyle's gonna draw up some more land here. So he has grasped the Cletus. So he definitely is afraid of the Cletus.
Oh yeah, Cletus is very strong. I mean, very good in this matchup even.
This is interesting. What do you think Kyle has to do to win the game?
if I don't know any of the cards in Doug's hand, Kyle needs to ride this Syndicate Trafficker to victory.
Right.
So he needs like some creatures that can block,
Oh, grapple has yielded us.
sorcery to turn on
I grabbed a Cletus.
Delirium, and it gives us a Cletus back.
And it put Emrakul in the bin.
Sure. I don't think this is going to be an Emrakul game, but if we do resolve an Emrakul with the sack effects that Schweiger has on the board,
Yeah, it
then
could be
it's-
bad news.
Yeah. But it's bad news for everybody.
Sorcery and super.
Alright, so we've established that Grimflayer is a 4/4 now.
That's no 8 toward the 13.
Alright.
Swing is a 4/4.
Coming in for 4 here. Into 5 mana, which is not my favorite play in the world.
No.
Um,
But he has a grasp in hand, so
sure.
he had the Avacyn protection.
Right.
So here we're looking at land, Grimflayer, murder, and we keep the land on top, which I agree with. Like, developing your mana now that you have, even though it's tangential access, you have access to an Emrakul.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot of cards in this deck that bring that Emrakul into.
Yeah. Liliana, another grapple.
Any vessels he might have. Or no, I'm sorry, Vessel cannot get it back.
No idea what this does.
Alright, so here's Marionette Master for all of you at home.
Limited All-Star. This card is fantastic. And you chose put into a graveyard. Target opponent loses equal to Marionette Master's power.
We're going to grasp it with a trigger on the stack.
Alright.
So here's Schweiger now gets his 3 servos.
My question is really, when the trigger goes on the stack, does he have to decide the load before or after?
After.
He decides when it resolves.
So Doug was asking if the way Fabricate works, if he has to decide when the trigger goes on the stack or when the trigger resolves. And it's worded in such a way that you decide when the trigger resolves.
Right. So this might have been a little too aggressive from Doug.
No, I like that play a lot, actually.
Oh, I disagree.
So it forces him to go wide. He's got the Flaying Tendrils in hand.
Sure.
Had to tap out to do it, so the Syndicate Trafficker isn't growing. So right now you just get to wipe the board. You get your free attack with Grimflayer.
Right.
Flame tendrils gives everybody -2/2. And exiles.
Yeah, the dead weight goes to your graveyard. That increases your count there, right?
Swim like 2/2. And trigger.
No.
There's a Liliana.
Yeah, put that one right on top.
Maybe. Like, you don't really need Emrakul at this point. So I
Right.
could see putting the removal spell on top instead. Just to keep clearing the path for your Grimflayer.
Okay.
Like, Schweiger's at 10, so I mean, that's 3 swings.
I mean, Liliana does a pretty similar thing, and it produces more options.
A lot of the times, yeah. It depends on what creatures he draws. Like, so if he had another Eiley, then Grimflayer's not, or then Liliana's not going to completely kill it, at least.
All right. I would have tapped differently here because if you leave the Westvale Abbey up, you can generate a token with it.
Not with this mana. You would need one more.
Oh, is it 5+?
5 and tap, yeah. For both abilities.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. night.
All right, so now Liliana is definitely a clear path to victory.
Yeah, you can take care of all of these tokens as they come out.
Right, and yeah, just taking this thing up, and away until you get the emblem, and then you get to just make an endless amount of zombies.
So I like not playing this here. So it's going to create 2 servos and a guy.
No, I make it a 2-3.
You really just want an O2? So at this point, if I'm Kyle Schweiger, my path to victory is this Westvale Abbey.
Okay.
So I hold on to this, hope to get another Fabricator,
Okay.
play them both on the same turn, so Lily only gets 1 activation to tick me down.
Okay. And then you go.
And then you get to untap and Westvale Abbey it.
Yeah, activate the Westphal Abbey, get the Prince of whatever it's called.
Ormdal?
Yeah.
Prince Ormdal. He's the Prince of Persia. He's not really the Prince of Persia, for those of you keeping track at home.
Man, did you find that game difficult?
The first one?
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Let's see what we got here.
Oh, see, now that's interesting.
I don't like this.
You don't like just playing into it?
No. What top deck do you want here, buddy?
Plus target with a trigger.
Exile.
Yes, he is exiled, so I get a 2/2 zombie.
Congratulations, you just played yourself.
Can't beat the DJ Khaled reference.
I mean, I'd love for that to be the case, but we'll play it straight.
Doug Nelson does have the Ishkana.
Cards in hand and none.
Yep.
Swing.
I don't think Kyle's gonna yield any kind of victory in this game. I would bet against it.
And I think I have Delirium.
Well, you had Delirium before, so you probably got Delirium now. And now we got some spiders.
Yeah. There we go. We're gonna play a
That'll
third
do
one.
it.
What did I draw?
I was at 21, but he just scooped.
So if he slow rolls the weapons enthusiast, is that what he is?
Yes, he's a
Enthusiast?
weapons enthusiast.
If you slow roll the weapons enthusiast and you draw another fabricator, you can run them both out there.
Uh-huh.
Get your 6 guys.
Okay.
Liliana gets to kill one.
Okay.
And
you
then
untap.
you
and
untap,
You get the Prince Ormondal.
get your prince, swinging for 9 lifelink, which is huge.
right.
It's a 18-point life swing. I don't know that Doug has a way to get around it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Doug would have to have something along the lines of murder or.
It's indestructible.
No way,
Yeah, 100% indestructible.
man.
Yeah, my trigger on this.
That card's almost worth all the work.
Oh, it's 100% worth all the work.
That card was a $20 card when it came out. Down to like $2.
I don't know about 2, but it's down there.
Um,
Yeah, Emrakul just kind of doesn't care.
no, he doesn't care about any princes or anything like that.
No.
He's from a completely different dimension where physics and turn order doesn't matter.
Where physics and caste systems don't matter.
There's no birthright in Emrakul's world,
No, Emrakul is the only birth and the only right.
right? She's a biggin.
She's a big, beautiful Eldrazi monster.
Yeah, the art on that card's fantastic too.
Oh, sure.
My favorite, probably one of my favorite Magic, like they send out promotional materials.
Yeah.
The big poster with Emrakul over the towns in
Right.
Innistrad is just amazing.
Like the way it's set up, where your eyes are immediately to like these guys fighting in the foreground, and then like you see it like just pan off forever, and you see like tiny guys in the background, and then you go up and you just see behind them this monstrous Emrakul. It does a tremendous job of creating scale.
Yes, it does create scale very well. I'm reminded of Independence Day. You remember
Okay.
the Will Smith movie Independence Day?
Of course, I remember the Will Smith movie Independence Day. Will
Or-
Smith
or
is my
wait a minute.
favorite rapper.
Should we call it the Jeff Goldblum movie Independence Day?
No, it's definitely the Will Smith movie Independence Day.
Also in that movie, who reprised his role in the newer one. Why'd I just blank?
I don't know, why did you just blank?
I'm just gonna say it randomly during the match. Damn it! Why did I do that? Anyway, the scale of those aliens in that movie, was just awesome. When you saw the little tiny ships try and fly into the movie,
Absolutely.
or into the big alien ship.
Yeah, they did a great job there as well.
I can't even talk. It's such a long weekend, day, evening, whatever we're talking about here.
It's something. It's certainly something. So it looks like now Doug has presented.
Brent Spiner. That's who I was trying to think of.
Okay.
Played in both Independence Days. Yeah, so Kyle Schweiger is trying to not go fast anymore.
Yeah, that's a mistake. You got to go fast.
I concur.
Oh, he's giving it a shuffle,
Give it a shuffle.
slowing him down.
Something you think. I mean, it's honestly, it's like that could work in your favor. Could it? You never know.
Somebody was like, well, you look at somebody's deck up to 10. So we can screw you that way, I guess. But if they're doing that,
All right, so we definitely saw some of Doug's sideboard there. Flaying Tendrils turned out to be real good.
Yeah, that card's awesome.
He
against
brought in,
this
I
deck.
think, Ishkana, which I don't really agree with, but it might just be the right call.
It's a situation where Kyle's going wide, so he's like, well, I got the guy that goes the widest.
Right. I think I don't know. It's definitely good in the matchup, but I don't think he needs it in the matchup, and I think it hurts his original game plan too much.
Okay. I just think that his original game plan versus Kyle's reasonable draw is not strong.
Oh, I think
Because-
it's very strong.
Well, Kyle can just make an infinite amount of blockers, meaning Grimflayer is the only card that's amazing.
I mean, Grimflayer's pretty amazing, and what else
I
do you
know.
want?
Well, I'm saying if it's a Sylvan Advocate draw, and that's the attacker, Kyle just gets to like hang out for many, many turns until Marionette Master becomes a play, and then you're just like, okay, well,
Gonna lose some life.
you're gonna lose some life.
Gonna
and-
kill a Marionette Master.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying is that
I just don't see how.
I think running fast into these go wide style decks is not going to ultimately work out in Doug's favor.
It's much harder to go wide when you have to generate blockers every turn. So at some point, if Schweiger is going to win, he can't block every turn. He has to turn the corner and attack.
Right. That's what your Avacens are for.
So if you put Schweiger on the back foot
Or
the entire
your
time,
Angel of Inventions.
Angel of Vengeance.
Invention.
Oh, I was going to say, Angel of Vengeance, not a standard legal card.
No, not at all. That's not a thing that.
No.
No.
So I think Doug took out his blossoming defenses
Okay.
in favor of some just straight up removal.
Right, the flying tendrils, perhaps.
I wasn't a fan at first when I was thinking about this, but the more I think about it, the more I can get behind it.
Okay.
So the idea with the blossoming defense is it's removal for whatever he blocks with.
No second land here for Kyle.
Oh, into a turn 2 Grimflayer, that's not what you want to see.
Nope. Yeah, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, this is why you mulligan.
Yeah, he was down to 6. And,
It doesn't, like,
Yeah, right.
6 on a 1-lander, if you can't win the game, then draw 5. There is a percentage of 5-card hands that will win you the game.
right. And that percentage is higher than the
Right.
percentage of.
Getting, like, runner land.
Right. All right. So Doug's going to want to be really well shuffled here for this
Yeah.
non-game we're gonna have.
You got to really shuffle up here.
How many
and,
more? How many more presses do you think? 2 more after this? There's
3
one.
more.
I'll take 2.
Oh, we're both terribly wrong.
All right. Kyle's gonna cutsies. Dump everything that's not an attacker.
He has to attack first before he can do
He
this.
declared the attack. It just wasn't. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah,
There
just
you
get
go.
rid of all. You need lands, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you just dump everything that's not an attacker.
Attackers, lands, removal, like that's what you want.
Yep.
You don't want Kalidases.
Angel of Invention down.
What was the draw here?
I see another Sylvan Advocate in play.
All right.
Alright. So we have a grapple with the past?
Yep.
I would definitely be grappling. Can grapple get a land?
Yeah. Sylvan Advocate has Vigilance, so it doesn't actually tap, but whatever.
Alright, so Doug's going to mill these, and then he should put 100% of them in the graveyard. Because
Right.
if he plays well, he's going to grapple, get, what's this?
Lily?
If he plays Liliana, I'm just, alright. I would have grappled for a land, and then Sylvan Advocate.
Absolutely. I might have minus Lily there if I was really wanting to play Lily. But I don't see a point in doing anything with Lily other than just get it on the board.
Well, now he can minus it twice and put one in the graveyard to increase his Delirium count.
He's got 5 types.
Alright, I think one of them's probably another Liliana, so there's that. Yeah, that's not gonna. It's Will you?
It should be 6 after the
Demon of Dark Schemes. All right.
Demon of Dark.
You don't want it now. Just bid them all. You want lands is what you want.
Yeah, you want to cast Grapple with the Past and get a land. I think that card does that.
Neither of the lands that are in his yard come to play untapped. But now they do.
Alright.
And now we can cast this Sylvan Advocate.
Alright. Sylvan Advocate.
Sylvan Advocate. Doesn't want to overextend into something. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Toxic Deluge. He's playing around Toxic Deluge.
It actually makes Declaration in Stone a blowout.
Not really a
I
blowout.
think it's 2 for 1.
Sure, but
But I guess he gets to like win the game if he if he doesn't get that illusion in stone. He gets to
I
win
mean,
the
he's
game.
holding up Grasp of Darkness here is what he's doing. But it's totally irrelevant.
All right, he's gonna miss his trigger because it doesn't matter
I don't even need my triggers.
because life doesn't matter. So Kyle got up to 4 lands in this game, but it's pretty irrelevant because Doug got to like do goldfish. He got the goldfish for 4 turns.
It was like 6 turns.
Sure.
But yeah, this was a non-game.
Yeah. So
But even when you're playing non-games like Doug is, it's important to
play tight.
because if Schweiger had like a relevant sideboard card in his hand that he was trying to cast, then this could have just been a massive comeback here.
All right.